Now, don't you dare call it a bull run. Don't even think of using the word pump. But I tell you what, folks, call it whatever the heck you want. The coffee is hitting just right this morning out of my XRP family mug. I appreciate everybody for stopping by today. XRP officially up 20% from the New Year's Eve low. The market makers making us all look foolish. We had big targets for 2025 and we missed. Oh boy, we missed. But we still remain right on course, right on path to the destination of a double-digit XRP coming in 2026. So without further ado, we're going to get into the update. We're back at work, back at school. Hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas, holidays. It's been a fun time, and I'm excited to be back in the office here, back to work. Let's get it. XRP 20% from the low that we set here New Year's Eve, down here at $1.81 XRP. And then we move all the way up here to about, let's get the exact reading, almost 219. Yeah, 219 and a half. So almost capturing 220 again. I talked about how those were the immediate levels that we're looking to flip back into support, would be 220, really 232. And then we can start to have a conversation if Bitcoin, which did briefly break above 94,000, if we can get Bitcoin to break above 94,000 and hold that, then we can start to have a conversation about the bottom for sure being in. Right, before we get too excited here, I do want to share with you a data point that does have me a little bit concerned, on top of course, any sort of black swan or big catalyst that could drop. Obviously, we had the Venezuela situation take place, markets responding very well. You know, oil's coming back down, or at least hanging out there at about $57 per barrel last time I checked. So no spike in oil. But our crypto market, silver, all of it moving back up, gold moving back up. But the problem here is the underlying economy still needs to be brought back. So we need the liquidity cycle to open back up. And you're going to see the business cycle moving and going back into expansion. And then we can start to see real liquidity start to pour back in. And then this is when, folks, retail starts to come back and they're FOMO blasting these charts, just sending them back on up to new all-time highs. But the data point that we got this morning was the U.S. ISM manufacturing PMI, which did come in at a 14-month low of 47.9, while the expectation was 48.4. So the expectation was for this still to be in contraction. Anything below 50, contraction. Above 50, expansion. And I've been putting out some videos on this here recently, breaking down why this is such an important data point to watch. The correlation between this chart and crypto, especially altcoins and XRP, is really unbelievable. The ISM manufacturing is still trending lower, which means the US economy is still struggling. We need ISM above 50 for bullish momentum and risk assets like Bitcoin and crypto. Now, despite this reading this morning, the market doesn't care at all. This market's still just ripping. And so we'll see if this ends up being a bull trap where they run this sucker up to 220 for XRP, 94,000 for Bitcoin, and then they rip us back down. I'm still not ruling that out, which is why I do have my order set at $1.66 still to add to my XRP long. My XRP long finally made it back into profit this morning. Praise God. But here's where we're at on the chart for the PMI. I've been doing some videos on this to show you guys the correlation. Look at this bottom here in January 2016, tops out here February 2018. When did XRP top out that cycle? January 2018. We come back during the simulation event of 2020. This sucker goes all the way down to 42, April 20. And then you look next year, April 2021, that's March 2021. This is when it tops out. XRP topped out April of 2021. The correlation here with the XRP is incredible. June 23, the low comes in on this. Crypto had already gone in to a bear market and was bottoming out in October and November. And so as soon as this thing did flip negative into contraction, that's when crypto was bottoming out. PMI bottoms out down here in June of 2023, and then it starts to move back up. We briefly went back into expansion in January and February of 2025, and then we moved back down into contraction. So we just got the December reading. Remember, this is not for 2026 January. This was the December reading, which comes in at 47.9. I have my green box right here. I'm looking for this to head back into expansion. Fed lowering rates, coming back with QE, and starting to ease up conditions. We can start to feel good about our economy again. And this is when money starts to flow again. And it's already starting regardless. Remember, the top 1%, the wealthiest families, family offices, sovereign wealth funds, institutional investors, and smart money, they're not waiting around for the business cycle to come back. They're already sitting on a record high 7 trillion plus in money market funds that's just waiting to be deployed. They're scared right now, so they want to earn their 4% in the T-bills in the money market funds, and they're sitting on the sidelines waiting to deploy. And when they deploy, and they can do that at any time, you're starting to see the capitals start, really just trickling in so far. We haven't seen nothing yet. So while I remain incredibly bullish on the outlook for 2026, let's just see if we can get some legs here on this run. It's been a nice stretch here since New Year's Eve when XRP was at $1.81. Bitcoin broke down again and was starting to move back up here. According to the stock market definition of a bull run, we would officially be in a bull run up 20% from that level for XRP. But we're in crypto, so we can move 20-30% in a couple days, and then they can wipe us out and smack us back down. So are we in the clear yet? You guys let me know in the comments down below, but the outlook for 2026 remains so bullish, so bullish. Specifically for the XRP ledger, we have version 3.00 available, and we encourage all validators and node operators to upgrade at their earliest convenience to ensure service continuity. So this is a PSA from Ripple X. Some fixes in this update, but more importantly on the way is on-chain lending, permission DEX, permission domains, all of the other amendments here that expand XRP DeFi. We're talking about big macro tailwinds, trillion-dollar tailwinds to bring crypto back up. But then specifically for XRP, our DeFi is set to explode. Now, speaking generally about crypto, it's an ETF explosion that's about to take place. It's already underway. Nate Garassi, there are currently 130 plus crypto-related ETF filings with the SEC. Welcome to 2026. So many storylines this year, further mainstream adoption in spot, Bitcoin, and Ethereum ETFs, growing interest around Sol and XRP ETFs, and there's a lot more growth coming that way. But the biggest story, in my opinion, will be the huge year for crypto index ETFs. And what's so important for everybody to understand is that these index and basket ETFs, they're picking up the physical position on the back end too. So like the Franklin Templeton XRP ETF that you see on the XRP tracker, right? It's got about 5% of that fund, the Bitwise index, it's at 4.82% for XRP right now. Let's take a look at it. So you can see right down here at the bottom, 27 million XRP in this basket index fund from Bitwise. But moving back up, we're having a massive day for volume, 38.24 million so far. I'm going to refresh this just to double check. Yeah, I'm recording this about 10 a.m. on the West Coast. So still a few hours left to go, and we're set to have a record day for XRP ETF volume. 19 million so far for Franklin Templeton in the lead, Bitwise approaching 10 million, Canary approaching 6, Grayscale Rex in 21 shares in the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions for ETF volume. Absolutely love to see it. We're at 766 million XRP parked in these vaults. We have billions of inflows on the way to these XRP ETFs. Billions. We've seen nothing yet. The 760 million that you see right there so far, nothing. I expect that to double up very quickly. I expect us to see 3 to 5 billion XRP parked in these vaults backing these ETFs by the end of 2026. That's my prediction. Okay, this is massive. Now let's take a look here. What happens if XRP follows the June to July 2025 fractal? Fireworks. If I could just describe it in one word, it's fireworks. Take a look at it here, folks. If you look, this is the weekly chart on XRP. So we're into the first week of 2026, right? Which started in December 29th. And then it was really just the last few days of this week, which were, the January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which took XRP back up here above $2.15. And now we move up towards 220 here today. And so you can see that this thing's on track. If we were to repeat the June through July fractals that we did for XRP last year, you're talking about this sucker going back to $3.60. We were at these same exact levels here when everybody thought this was over, right? June of 2025, XRP goes down here to $1.91. Everybody thought, oh crap, we're back below $2. This is the end. And then the market makers let this thing go. And boy, did it fly all the way up here to $3.66. We are absolutely set up to do the same exact thing right here. And I just wanted to show you guys how quickly it can be done. Now, is this a guarantee? No. And as I said, I'm still ready. If the market makers play a trick on us and take us back down, you know, I have an order right now at $1.66. I might have to move that back up, but, you know, who's to say that they won't smack us up and take us back one more time? If they do, I'll be ready. I know you guys will be ready as well too. See, because we moved back above $2 with so much strength, now you start to see the FOMO kick in. Because folks, you know, like me and others are looking back and they're saying, wow, if we follow on this trajectory that we did just last year, June through July, everybody thought it was the end. We're back below $2. Oh no. And then just like that, we were back up to $3.66 in just a couple weeks. That's how quickly this XRP asset can move. And we want you guys prepared. So we're taking a look at it right now. If XRP follows on this, we'd be back at $3 here shortly. Not ready to say that this is going to happen, but it is a possibility. Now, if you guys are looking for a platform to get access to cryptocurrency in your retirement accounts, I have to plug iTrustCapital right here to let you guys know this platform is incredible. If you guys haven't gotten exposure to crypto through your retirement account, well, let's get it done today. iTrustCapital makes it easy. $0 for the monthly and annual fees, no AUM fees, that's free, institutional grade custody, 1% on the cryptocurrency transaction fee. You also can get gold and silver, all the necessary IRS and tax reporting. And this is a platform that is known for its US-based customer support. They will get you set up. You can roll over an existing 401k, 403b, other qualifying retirement account. Roll that over into an IRA with iTrustCapital today. When you use my link down below, you'll get a $100 funding bonus as well. So, big year coming up, incredibly bullish outlook. Nobody trusts this rally. Even I don't trust this rally, but boy, does it feel good to see XRP back up here at 220. Even just back above $2 is nice. But moving with real strength here. Let's see if we can get some legs on this, build out some structure on that chart. You never want to move up too quickly, right? You don't want to pump and dump it, but let's see if we can continue this momentum. It's looking really good out here. Appreciate you guys for stopping by, and we'll be dropping some nice content all week. So make sure you guys stay tuned by subscribing, hitting that notification bell. If you appreciate what we're doing, help us out by liking the video, sharing it out far and wide, and we'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.